Alright, so after we roll out our previous episode talking about if you are planning for retirement, you are downsizing from a condo property to a HDB property in terms of the timeline, how should you bridge it, how should you plan it. So we have another question coming in, ask us about how about from a condo, switching to a condo, what should you do? Let's talk about this in this episode. Okay, so if you are planning to switch from an existing condo property to another condo property, then there's a few things that you need to consider. Number one is that I want to ask you, is your current property having two names? And do you intend to put two names in your next property as well? So let's talk about this scenario. If that is the case, two names, you have no other property, this is your one and only private property, and then after selling it, you're buying your so-called one and only private property, then that will be called your matrimonial home as a married couple. So for that to happen, you have one privilege, is that you can actually claim back the additional buyer's stamp duty in the event if you decide to buy first and then sell this property itself. So there's a few ways to plan. Usually there's a few key considerations. Number one, can the ABSD be claimed back? Number two, do you have sufficient amount to pay the ABSD for purchase first, which is now at 12%, all right? Number three, on top of the ABSD, you still have to pay the buyer's stamp duty. And of course, number four, do you still have an existing mortgage on your current place? So why do we ask these four questions is because that will then help you to analyze and decide as a property owner switching your private property, should you then sell first or should you then buy first? Okay, so let's talk about, let's say if you're struggling and you're not sure what to do, right? To allow you to buy first, you need to fulfill a few things. So assuming you only have one matrimonial home and you want to buy first, because let's say this private property is very rare and it only comes out once in a blue moon in this project that has probably very little unit and just love the layout so much, you just love the location so much and you want to buy first. So what should you do? Number one, you have to ensure that you have the amount to actually pay for the ABSD first, which is 12% as a Singaporean couple. The buyer's stamp duty, in short, if you're buying above $1 million, it will be 4% minus 15,400 for the latest stamp duty rule. So that is close to about 16%. So you have to pay that first. And you have to come out in cash first if it's a resale property. After which you can actually claim back from your CPF ordinary account. But the second question is there an outstanding loan? If there is, when you buy first, you can only take a 45% loan because it is deemed that you have not cleared off your first mortgage. But if it's already fully paid, then you can take a 75% loan on the purchase. Alright, so if you have not fully pay off this property, then you need to make sure you have that first 12% ABSD, buyer's stamp duty, and then you need to have a 55% down payment. So all in, there's quite a fair bit of amount that you have to fork out first in order to qualify to buy first. Alright, so if that by itself presents an issue, then the usual route that a lot of people are doing right now is actually to sell first, so that once they secure a buyer that paid the option fee and the exercise fee, then they proceed to put in the option fee for the next private property. Because in the event if you have already sold, you have secured a buyer, they have exercised the option, you can safely go ahead and put down an option for the next private property. Then you will not be taxed the ABSD 12%. Alright, you don't have to pay that anymore. Secondly, you can take the full max loan to value ratio of 75%, which means that you are treated like a first time buyer buying your first private property, and that is basically more clear cut in terms of your funding and stuff. In between, of course, you can time it in such a way whereby your property completes first, then you complete this new property concurrently. You can arrange probably a rent back with your current buyer, or can rent outside for probably 3 to 6 months if you need to do intensive renovation here. Or you can also do a bridging loan and plan your timeline accordingly so that you can try to move once. But of course, sometimes we advise clients that in order not to so-called limit your buyer audience, of course, if you can do a normal completion on both ends, that would be great. great. If further discussion with your buyer can be discussed for a more lengthy completion, then that can also be arranged. So all in all, it depends on the complexity of selling your current place, the ease of exit, and the next place that you're going to buy. Is it a very rare property or is it easily available? One option that a lot of people are going into is also to discuss with the new place that you're going to buy, discuss with that seller over there to see if you can do like a more prolonged option period by putting in probably a higher option fee just to secure the place first, giving you a prolonged option period so that you can have more time to sell your current place. So these are some options that you might want to think of when you switch from a condo to a condo per se. Alright, so we hope that this episode will answer some of your queries. Now, if you have any other questions, you can always leave a comment down below, or you can drop us a PM either on Facebook, Instagram. And of course, if you're watching from YouTube, do click the bell button so that when the next episode comes out, you'll be notified to watch and enjoy more information and tips with us. So hope to see you soon at PropertyLimBrothers. Cheers!